Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here at the Cannes Film Festival, and it's time to review Close Your Eyes. This is legendary Spanish filmmaker Victor Erice's return to filmmaking after 30 years. If you don't know the director, he made Spirit of the Beehive in the 70s, El Sur in the 80s, and a documentary in the 90s, all of which have been met with lots of critical acclaim. Spirit of the Beehive was included on the Sight and Sound Top 100, and with Close Your Eyes, he's making a film about a director who hasn't made a film in 30 years. After the lead actor and best friend of this character disappeared from set, the main character feels like he lost his movie and his friend decades ago, and he's kind of searching for what's left in his life. In many ways, the movie is an answer to Victor Erice's long absence, a meditation on aging and a career that's now behind you. It's a deeply personal, reflective, somber film, and I think that he achieved something really beautiful here. The story behind the film only enhances how special it is. At the screening I attended, it felt like a major moment for this great filmmaker. And yet there's very little buzz surrounding this movie. It didn't premiere in competition at Cannes, which has been the subject of controversy. It kind of breaks my brain trying to think about why this movie from this director at this point in his career wouldn't premiere in competition. Victor Erice says that Cannes didn't notify him if his movie was going to be in competition, which could have affected how he chose to premiere it. Cannes denies this. I guess the details are ongoing. Victor Erice actually chose not to show up at the festival, and unfortunately this movie playing out of competition means that there were less screenings, so a lot of people did not end up seeing this movie. And I think it's a real shame. So my advice is to put this movie on your watch list and keep it on your radar. The performances are really good here. Manolo Solo's weathered, glimmering eyes speak volumes. He carries the character's tired search for something to hope for. Anna Torrent is also very good here. She was actually the 6-year-old lead of Spirit of the Beehive, and this reunion kind of adds another layer of poignancy to the story, which reflects so deeply on time past and the people who remind us of who we once were. And Jose Coronado is excellent as Julio. This movie is heavily about gazes and his say so much. The movie is nearly 3 hours. It's a little slow, but the pacing feels right. It feels like it just has a slower heartbeat than other films, which is appropriate for the somber tone. I do think there are some scenes in the movie that mostly just repeat the sentiments established in previous scenes, so I would argue that there's a stronger version of this movie that is cut down a little bit. I also would not recommend watching this if you're tired. Get a little coffee in you before this one. I know it's kind of sounding like I'm saying it's boring, but you know, the mood that you go into a film with is kind of everything, and if you can help yourself focus, I would recommend doing it because I think it's really worth giving your time and attention to this. The movie is a great self-reflection on Erice's relationship to his art, his past, his age, his memories, his identity, and his relationship to filmmaking as a whole. The movie does take a little while to build, but it gets better and better as it goes along, and it culminates in a really wonderful ending that is just perfect. It is an incredibly accomplished swan song, and it kind of feels like watching an old classic in a way. I would give the movie a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. How long is your artistic hiatus?